What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dirty Short Underground bonus episode, as usual, Sunday nights. A little bit later than usual. I have no idea why. I'm sure Rob will tell us why while he's throwing out the links and the support stuff.
Make sure you follow. Make sure you go to dirtyshortunderground.com. New episodes of the podcast every Thursday. Bonus episodes every Monday or Tuesday. Obviously, we are done with The Walking Dead. We're on to the Fear the Walking Dead. You're watching that right now. So we have a couple more episodes left of the Fear the Walking Dead reviews. And then tune in every Thursday for new episodes of the podcast. You can find them on dirtyshortunderground.com or through your favorite RSS feed. Make sure that you are also following at DirtyShoreUG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. That is where you can get the most updated information, including incorrect information when Kenny posts stuff and doesn't talk to me first. So
I talked to you earlier in the day, if that helps.
So make sure you're following there on all these social networks at Dirty Shore UG. Some information that gets sent out there includes links to the live stream, which is available at youtube.com/c/Dirty Shore UG-OTA. So you can just scroll down to the bottom there. There's a section that says live comments. Type in your comments there. They'll pop up on the right-hand side of the screen. That way you can ask questions, make comments, and be part of the podcast along with us. As per usual, our typical spoiler alert. We are going to be discussing episode 6 of Fear the Walking Dead, which aired today, Mother's Day, May 8th, 2016. We're also going to discuss the previous 5 episodes of the season, the previous season of Fear the Walking Dead. Probably some from the Fear the Walking Dead show, maybe the video games, maybe the companion comic books, everything. So if you haven't experienced any of that stuff, make sure that you do check that out before. Stop right now, go watch it, come back, otherwise we are going to spoil it for you. So make sure you check that out. And hello to everybody who's in the chat room already. Again, you can join them at youtube.com/c/dirty-shore-UG-OTA and become part of the podcast along with us. Keep in mind there's about a 40-second delay, so you need to give us a heads up about what it is that you're commenting on. So,
I want to first off say, about 9:45, I was assuming you were stuck in traffic trying to get back to the Eastern Shore or something. So that's why at 10 o'clock I posted it.
I was... So I decided that I was going to go handle some errands, and then when I realized what time it was, I realized there was no way I could make it back on time. So I just basically found a place I could watch, hung out with some friends of mine, watched it, and then the problem was there was no outlet next to where I'm sitting, so I had to put my phone elsewhere, and then we also, because I got there late, basically they paused and then like rewound it, and we watched fast forwarding through the commercials.
So you didn't have to miss the first 15 minutes.
Right, so I didn't have to miss the first 15 minutes on the TiVo, but also we didn't wrap up until like 10 or whatever, because there was a little bit of a delay. So didn't wrap up until later, got in the car, finally got the phone like keyed up and turned back on, and that's when everything was kind of done. But we are here, as always, doing the review episode. So thank you all for joining us. So diving right into kind of the action, thankfully,
do we want to jump right there though?
Yes.
I kind of want to talk about the steak dinner.
Well, no, because I was going to say, the one good thing overall, not getting into anything specifically, but the episode was good and action-packed, and I felt like it kept the energy up. Our major concern after last week's episode was, is it going to fall off again? Was there that one good episode and then fall off? And I think that we had another great episode.
They're definitely building it.
Yeah.
It's what we've been waiting for since the season start. And obviously, like we've been saying the entire season, they had to get to this point. Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
What we thought was probably a submarine, we found out wasn't a submarine.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, still could be a pirate ship. It was in the water.
Wasn't in the water, unfortunately. But the other side of that is there was no gun battle. I was surprised. I thought that there was going to be a bigger thing, but there wasn't. So, but going back to what you wanted to start with, the steak dinner. What are your thoughts on the steak dinner?
I was kind of pissed that the pregnant chick took it, to be honest with you. I mean, the guy seemed nice enough, to be honest with you.
Now, and I don't think his name Connor? Do we ever establish his name was Connor? Okay.
Reed was the other one.
Right, yeah.
So I'm assuming Reed was the worst one. By the way, he was laughing with the fucking shit through him and still trying to talk shit. And then you had Daniel just sitting there. Oh, he's just scared. That's what scared people do. They sit there and they talk shit when they know they can't do nothing.
So Gotham Guy says, I was a tad worried it would be rushed, but was pleased with the pacing and tone tonight. Flash said, Jesse McCartney has not aged well. I agree with both of those comments. Jesse McCartney has not aged very well.
I don't even know who he is, so.
Although he looked better on Fear the Walking Dead. When it flashed out of the TiVo and it was on Fear the Walking Dead, I saw him. I thought he looked better without, like, the dark hair and the makeup. But I agree that the episode itself, I think, was paced really well. And they're starting to get that same tone that we get from The Walking Dead, where there are 3 separate stories going on at the same time, and then all of them are part of a bigger arc story, but at the end they all feed together and match up, and then go. Yeah.
Can I just make a foreshadowing comment that I think the Chinese woman is the Morgan of this thing?
Which Chinese woman?
The one that was
Oh,
on
the Asian woman, yes. Oh, wait, she's just going to pop up from here from now on, just randomly pop up. How surprised were you that that Flight 462 woman showed up?
Did not know it was the girl from the raft.
She was looking hot. Like, she was looking rough on the raft, like, you know, she was in the plane crash. Clearly she got herself a shower and she primped her hair up. She was looking very modelish. I was really digging it. So, Flash said, I was just going to say that, like, couldn't even tell who he was. On the couch, he looked a lot different. And the Asian chick is definitely a badass, Flash. Yep. So, but yeah, so your steak dinner. So the pregnant lady took it. Listen, the pregnant lady needs the steak dinner, clearly. She's pregnant, eating for 2, you know.
Look, I'm going to be honest. When they got into the scuffle, into the little jail cell thing, I was like, punch that bitch in the stomach and run.
I literally yelled the same thing at the screen. When she, like, when she whipped out that thing, I was like, it's dangerous for a pregnant lady to whip out a weapon like that. Because my first thought is like, snap, bam, and just hit you in the stomach and run away. Like,
my first thought was, you got the baton, but she's got a fucking butterfly knife in her back pocket.
Oh, that's true. She did have the knife too. Catch her in the stomach.
Yep.
But she also didn't have to do that. Yeah.
Did he have herbs in like a prescription bottle? Because to me, I guess I caught like a glimpse of it, but it looked like he took a prescription bottle and dumped it into the marinade that he made for the steak.
No. So there was just some clear bottles. So what'll happen is that, like, when you're on, like, it was a waterproof bottle, and just basically what I think is they were talking about how they would raid these ships, and they would just wait and get whatever they could from each one. It was probably just on a ship somewhere, and it just had. I mean, maybe it was weed. I don't know. Maybe it was weed in a prescription bottle. Maybe it was just some kind of herbs in a prescription bottle. But I think it was just a waterproof bottle.
He was trying to season the steak.
Yeah. Gotham Guy says, Chris worries me a bit. Do you think he shall read? We'll get to the shooting in a bit. But so the steak dinner, there's a dominance issue there. And what I think is, the pregnant girl used to be the young, cute girl. And then everybody realized she was knocked up, or she got even more knocked up, and they weren't giving her the same respect that they were giving her before. And now Connor is cooking steak for, God, I'm going to confuse all of their names. Alicia. And
that's her real name with a Y.
Wow.
As they said on
And so, and even Reed says, oh, he doesn't cook steak for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the pregnant girl was like, I used to be the favorite.
Reed, it was the guy that she was talking to on the radio.
Jack.
Jack. That's right, sorry, Jack. Jack says he doesn't cook steak for anybody. And I think that the pregnant girl was like, you're not his favorite, I'm his favorite, I'm taking the steak. And I was kind of hoping that the steak was poisoned and that she was going to steal the steak and then find out later she got sick. But,
well, I just want to make a comment that the pregnant girl is the only safe one on that ship right now.
Why is that?
Because they released...
Yeah, you currently have...
Zombies.
They released... Well, we'll get to it. Let's not spoil that, I don't think.
Well, okay, so
because she locked her in the cage.
Because she locked her in a cage. That's what you mean by
okay.
She's secured inside.
She's the only one safe from not getting bitten, pretty much, and she's got that baton, so...
Yeah, but she's locked in a goddamn cage now. That's the other part of that.
Sure.
And Alicia didn't think about that. But, you know, I mean, Jack is still out. Jack is free and out. So I think maybe we'll see a little wrap-up on that. We know Asian girl is free and out. So Gotham Guy says Prego, undermined what Connor was trying for, which was welcoming Alicia by taking the stake. She's not safe. Clearly, no one is. Flash, I think that again, there's a little bit of a delay, but being in the cage certainly keeps her safe from the new zombies that are now wandering around. But there is the problem of like.
She now can't.
How's she gonna eat?
Season 2 of The Walking Dead, they were talking about that. Like some of the zombies were in the jail cells already, and you have to imagine that those prisoners were super safe from the zombie apocalypse. The problem is, was it season 3?
Till they starved to death.
Till they starved to death, and they were trying to figure out why there were zombies in cages, and I think it was.
It was The Walking Dead.
Yeah, no, it was The Walking Dead. It was season 3. I was trying to think of who said it, but somebody pointed out, they were like, oh, these guys, they didn't cage zombies. These were the prisoners who starved to death in the cells because they just got left there when everybody left. So
probably Herschel.
I was going to say, it feels like it was Herschel, but I didn't want to say Herschel. Zombie McCartney ate his bro, so we got zombies everywhere now. Being in the cage makes her safer by a margin, but not much. Well, safer in the short term, yes. In the long term, when you starve to death,
you still become a zombie.
And you have a baby that you need to feed, which may then die and eat its way out of you.
Zombie baby.
No offense, she was so much of a bitch that she kind of deserves it.
I know, I hope she does fucking die. If there's one person I really do want to die, it was her. Like, I will excuse a lot of behavior. I get that she was the pretty girl. She's not the pretty girl anymore, and she hates Alicia just because she's pretty and all that stuff. But you're a fucking cunt, and you need to die. So
I was hoping for Jack to die just because you said that he would become part of the regular cast.
Okay.
Just saying.
Yeah. Miranda, welcome. Miranda says, random pregnant zombie apocalypse question. If the baby goes stillborn, will it eat its way out of its mother? And Gotham Guy follows up with baby zombie.
It can't.
Why not?
No teeth.
Oh.
Babies don't have teeth until they're about 1 or 2 years old.
They do have fingernails, though.
Yeah.
It can claw its way out.
But their fingernails aren't that long until they're actually born.
Didn't the baby from
You're saying,
Dawn of the Dead have teeth?
but I've had 2.
Didn't the baby from Dawn of the Dead have teeth though when it came out and shot across the floor?
Yeah, but I mean, I think that was for effect. If we're talking about a real world scenario.
What?
Yeah, it's Day of the Dead, isn't it? Is it Dawn of the Dead?
First off, Dawn of the Dead, the baby never shot across the floor. The baby was born, and what's-his-face was holding the baby and got shot by the older woman.
Right, because the baby was turned.
You see how long it's been since I've seen the Dawn of the Dead remake.
But I think that ideally, if it had teeth, it would eat its way out. I was going to say Gotham Guy. I think the baby was delivered, and he was holding it when somebody shot him while he was holding the baby.
The older woman walked in on him, saw that the girl had turned, so she shot the girl in the head, and that's when he shot her, so she shot him, and...
Right. And the baby was clearly undead.
And when they walked over to see what happened, they saw that the baby was a zombie.
Yeah. So no teeth. Although some babies are born with teeth, I suppose, but you can be born with teeth. Google that shit. Babies can be born with teeth.
You ever seen any of the, like, Japanese zombie movies or anything?
No.
There was one on Netflix 2 years ago when I was living with Leslie. All the zombies farted or some shit. It was like the weirdest shit I ever seen.
Japanese people.
But you fucking laughed the entire
Yeah.
time because it was just fucking funny for no reason.
But I think that it is the idea that there is a zombie inside of you working its way in and out. Eventually, even a stillborn fetus will be born. Stillborn is in the name. Yeah, so now it's going to be making its way out.
I can understand trying to find its way out, yeah, but...
Well, because you will have...
Although, why would it try to find its way out if it's already inside where it can grab stuff?
You'll have delivery, though. Like, your body will pass it out. So, once the cervix starts getting it, that's when the little fingers get in the cervix, start ripping it open. So, for the ladies listening, just imagine a zombie baby ripping at your cervix from the inside and just tearing to get its way out. So,
I'm just going to make it known, if I got pregnant during the zombie apocalypse, I would have died. Both of my kids were C-sections.
Yeah, most people would die, though. The thing is that a lot of pregnant women would not make it, just generally speaking. But gums might suffice. Myrna says gums might suffice. I mean, you might get. There's a lot of. You also got to think that the uterine wall is very thin. So really, you know.
When you go into labor.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is that once the whole process starts, the whole
but
giving birth.
If you actually think about it, the uterus is a protective sac. It's not as thin as people think it is until you actually go into labor and it starts to thin so that it can break.
Right. But I'm saying that when the stillborn happens, bad stuff happens. And I think that the Happy Mother's Day, the zombie baby conversation.
It would have been the perfect time for a baby zombie. Mother's Day.
Right. Well,
they missed that opportunity.
But so the pregnant lady's locked up. She's safer now, safe-ish, I suppose. And again, Jack is there still. He hasn't turned. He had a gun with him the last time we saw him, so it's possible that he could take out the other zombies if he knows what he's doing. But it seems like everybody else. I feel like there's a bunch of people who don't have kids discussing gumming their way out of things, but.
Do y'all not realize how soft the baby's gums actually are?
No, because none of them have kids. That's the problem. None of them have kids. So sorry.
Okay.
So we see the line of Alicia, and I think the other theme of this week is y'all need to fucking just chill out for a second and stop trying to make plans, because 3 or 4 different people were making plans that were then like crossing over each other. They make a plan to do the exchange. And Chris decides to nut up and fucking shoot Reed in the face.
I don't know if he nutted up.
I
think he's trying to prove something to himself.
So let's go back. There was a discussion in the comment section before. Was Reed about to turn, or did Chris just shoot him to shoot him? Or did Reed convince Chris to shoot him?
I think Chris wanted to prove something to himself with the conversation that he had with Nick.
That he didn't pull the trigger?
Yep.
My thing is, though, is if he deliberately shot him, don't you think he would have deliberately shot him in a spot that would have killed him?
Well, it did kill him.
No, because the way the gunshot looks like the gun was put...
It still killed him, but it didn't kill the brain stem.
It went out the side of the head and ripped all this out, which...
So I think Reed might have talked him into...
Put the gun in my mouth?
Because he was trying to... What is it? Build a connection with him at first. He was like, from one orphan to another, these people that you call family are going to put you down eventually.
Yeah. And, with Daniel, it looked like he was trying to piss him off in the direction of like, why are you helping me? Just kill me. Just kill me. It doesn't matter. Because when my brother comes here, I'm going to tear your daughter apart. And like, just like that.
I just want to make it known when he explained the Achilles tendon thing, I felt it. And it didn't sound very wonderful.
And it's really awesome if you do cut somebody's Achilles tendon, because they're right. It does suck up the back of the leg into the knee, and then you can't walk.
Another thing, this is the second time gunfire has went off and somebody's died and we haven't heard it.
Right.
Last week there was a gunshot and we didn't actually hear it, but we've seen the after effects of it.
Right. So Gotham Guy says Reed wouldn't convince him to shoot him. Reed wouldn't want to die. He shot him before. He also isn't comfortable with shooting people, so of course he was going to fuck it up. He was probably just nervous. So I think the consensus in the comments is that Chris just wanted to prove something and shot him just to be like, fuck you, dude.
I think he wanted to know if he could do it.
Right.
Especially after the...
Yeah?
My thing about Reed is, if you have a bar through your fucking abdomen, you're done.
Right, and I mean, I think he knew that, and at some point it's like, I don't want to be... Here's the thing. If I'm in Reed's position, I try to get them to kill me.
I would rather die on my own terms than become a fucking zombie.
And on top of that as well, you're smart enough to know they're going to use me as leverage to get the other people back. And the whole point of this was to get Alicia and Travis to the pirate base. So I don't want them trading, and I also know my brother, and my brother's stupid, and he'll trade for me, because family, weak people trade for people. By the way, family, I'll cut you the fuck out if it comes down to it. Nobody is worth... I don't trade, I don't negotiate with terrorists. So if it was me, if I was in Reed's position, you're a goner. You got the fucking bar through you. There's no coming back from that in this world. and they're going to use you.
There's no coming back from that in the normal world. Usually,
No, you can survive that.
If
That's
you go to the
survivable.
hospital and they hear that you have a gut shot,
Yeah.
they consider you done.
No, but
It
with a
depends
bar,
on what exactly it hit.
yeah, with a bar through them in a hospital today, it's a totally survivable wound. Now you may shit in a bag the rest of your life. You may not walk, depending on where it is, but in the end, I think that you can survive. But from this world,
I
probably
would
not.
imagine you bleed out as soon as the bar's moved.
Well, and that's another thing. So you saw that they
In
weren't
this
moving
world,
the
yes.
bar.
In a hospital, not necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, there's a guy who got a piece of rebar through the skull, and they pulled it out and he survived. No noticeable damage to his life. In fact, they said he was less of an asshole after he got the bar through the head. So, there are things that are survivable, clearly not in this world, though. But, if I'm Reed, I don't want to be used for leverage. That's the number one thing. If I know I'm going to die, I know my brother's going to trade for me, kill me so that you can't use me to get your family members back. You alright there, Cullen?
Yep, that was hot.
So, I think that he definitely was trying to convince him. So, Gotham guy said it kind of worked out. Dead weight is dead weight. Yes, Flash, dead weight is dead weight. Miranda says I would most likely be the terrorist. No need to negotiate. Fair enough. That is probably the case. Herschel lived a long time after his injury, Flash said. But Flash said the difference is it was to an extremity. Yeah. Taking around through the torso in this world is a recipe for infection.
You can cut off a limb and cauterize it and be fine.
There's still the risk of infection, but
Yes,
when you take a bar through the shit factory.
But what I'm saying is, if you cauterize an extremity, you don't have to worry about bleeding out.
Right. And
The
there's
shit
a lot of-
factory.
Well, yeah, but listen, you have the most toxic environment known to man inside your body. And that bar just penetrated a big portion of it, and he's just leaking
Not to
shit
mention if it
out
hit
into
one of
his-
your kidneys.
Oh, he's leaking blood and shit out into his body cavity. It's a recipe for disaster.
Okay,
Nothing
top
like
it.
losing a fit.
My stomach's starting to hurt. You top it.
I don't have kidneys, I have alcohol orders.
So, the guy says that's a good point. It was a leg injury though, and that could. Oh, so yeah, we covered that. It wasn't through the shit factory; it was through the side, so it probably hit the liver. Well, so here's the deal with a bit of medical knowledge that I have. It was coming through just below the rib cage, slightly to the right.
It's lucky it didn't pierce his lung.
If it clipped the lung, he wouldn't be able to breathe. If it clipped the liver, he would have bled out within a few hours. Because the liver just basically is a filter. So most likely,
If it hit his kidney, he still would have been fine because you can live without one of them. But the stuff that's in your kidney leaking into your body.
And the kidneys are hanging in the area directly over top of the colon. So remember that your colon is going basically everything underneath your rib cage is colon and intestine, all of which has shit.
Your long and your small, or your large and your small intestine.
Right. So all of that is just filled with poison and waste. So when bar comes through, well, we're getting real technical right now. When the bar comes through,
You watched a lot of House.
It's piercing. So your liver is wider on the
pull out the medical
left
book
side.
if you'd like.
I mean, you can. Your liver's wider on the left side, narrow on the right side. So it went underneath the liver, probably penetrated the kidney, through the colon and the small intestine. He's leaking some bile. He's probably leaking some blood from the kidney. They maybe clipped the bladder, so maybe there's some urine. Colon and small intestine means other digestive juices and
not
just
very
shit
good bacteria in your body.
leaking all into the inner cavity. The recipe for this is, in this world, you're dead. Because they can't open you up and do open surgery
Not
where
to
they suck
mention,
out all
you're
the
not going
stuff.
to be able to find the antibiotics right quick to clean up whatever issues you have.
And Miranda, with the pun of the night, all that's left of Reed now is his beautiful soul.
Well, was it bad that when I saw that his face was shot, I was sitting there thinking, yeah, you're not looking for a pretty face anymore now, are you?
No, he's still looking for a pretty face.
Well,
he just
yeah.
doesn't have a pretty face anymore. But an excellent use of biological warfare by Daniel. And so, right before we go into commercial, what we see is Chris just like walking down the hallway. Reed's now been shot in the head. I'm like, fuck, way to go fuck everything up. We know Alicia.
Did I just fuck everything up?
But Alicia, so Meredith? No, Maddie. Maddie has organized an exchange. Chris has fucked that up, but in the meantime, Alicia's doing a prison break, so there may not be anybody to change. We got all three of these things happening at the same time. And Daniel is like, you know what? We can fix this. Daniel is becoming my favorite character on this show. He takes the rounds from the MP5 so that Strand can't just go outside and spray everybody.
He reminds me a lot of Daryl, to be honest with you, except he talks more.
Well, except for he talks more, and I think that in a weird way he is a mixture of several characters because he has a lot of skills, and he also is willing to do whatever it takes. And he's also good with weapons. There's a lot of stuff. Madison, yes, thank you, Gotham guy Madison. Maddie, for short. I'm on a first name basis with Madison, so I call her Maddie. So we're friends like that.
You got it like that?
Yes, exactly right. And Gotham Guy agrees with me. Daniel is really smart and resourceful, absolutely. I do worry about him as well from the preview for next week's episode, but I don't know that... The thing about this show is what they show you is never what actually is going to happen. What they show you is what they want you to react to, and then it turns out that moment has something completely out of context for what it looks like.
Although, if they want to pull through for it to build to a good season 3,
yeah,
somebody from the main cast is going to die in the last episode.
Of course, yeah.
And it's not going to be like with Negan where they don't show you because they don't necessarily know. They're going to show you, and then it's going to be a cliffhanger for the next season because you're going to be like, what the fuck? But you're going to come back and watch it anyway.
Well, so the question is, as it stands right now, who's on the chopping block? Who are the options? Nick, I don't think is an option.
No.
Daniel's
Nick,
not an
Nick
option.
is
No, Nick is here to stay.
Nick is our Rick at this point.
Yes, he is.
I mean,
The
come on, that
story is becoming
motherfucker
about him.
swam the shore naked last week in the middle of the night in the frigid cold and moved among the zombies, and like Strand said, he works in this world.
Right. He knows how to move in the world.
I think the Marcos
Marcos
guy is gonna die.
The what?
The bodyguard guy.
The Spanish dude.
The bodyguard.
See, but I mean, I'm concerned about that because the key of the story is he is how they're going to get into Mexico. So if he dies, now the whole story shifts to something
He's not
else.
how they're getting. Strand is how they're getting into Mexico.
No. It's the bodyguard.
Strand, the bodyguard is getting Strand into Mexico. All of our people are getting in through Strand. Strand's getting in through him.
Which is why in the
But
preview we see him
I thought
hiding in
he
the engine.
told him, or he was telling the people that Strand was the only way they were going to get into Mexico.
Right, but he was just basically saying, without Strand, I have no reason to take all of you. So if we don't get Strand, we don't go.
Would they kill Travis?
They might kill Travis. I think that if you've been listening to previous episodes, Travis has been a character that's kind of all over the place. He was back to being a little bit of a badass in this episode.
With that headbutt?
And you know, the little conversation he has with Flight 462 girl, where he's like, you know, we're not bad people, blah, 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 all that stuff.
Where the hell did she go?
She's on the pirate base.
1 minute she was there, and the next minute she wasn't.
Well, she's on the pirate base
That's a big
somewhere,
ship.
so-
She could be anywhere.
Yeah, she could be anywhere. And can you really call it a ship if it's in dry dock? It's more like a base. It's a base.
She was in dry
It's
base.
still a ship.
It's a
just
boat.
not in water.
It's not floating.
I will say when Alicia came outside at first, with the way the door looked, I thought it was like the top of a submarine.
Right.
And then it opened up into that water. I was like, damn it.
It would have been cool if it was.
Yeah, that would be totally cool.
When she looked at, like, I understand she was looking at the ship, but when you saw the bar in front of her, I thought she was about to pull some parkour shit.
Like jump off.
Like jump, grab the bar, like shimmy her way down.
Okay, and this we'll get back to the question, but my other problem I have with this episode is Alicia does like a 50-foot fall into the ocean.
And when we seen her slide off, she was
going
she
in
was
long.
like this.
Yeah, she
on
was
the
going
way
in
down
bad.
there. But when she hits the water, she's like this at an angle. No fucking way.
And blind jumped. Like, she walks over and she says goodbye to Jack, and then she just turns and jumps over the edge. She doesn't, like, look to eyeball it, like, do a little plinko dance to try and get in the right position. Just jumps over, slides down, and as she leaves the back of the boat, she is going horizontal into the water.
Which, from 50 foot, is going to
fucking
break
kill
something.
you. Yeah, I mean, she will not survive that.
Might
It'll
not
break her
kill
back.
you. Might not necessarily kill you, but it's definitely going to break something, and you ain't swimming to the boat.
Right. So somehow she corrects herself and goes into the water feet first and survives. So let's see. Gotham Guy says submarine would have been awesome. Yes, see, this is why they need me writing for the show, Gotham Guy, because I come up with shit like that. Flash says she doesn't land right. Thought Jack was going to follow. I did think for a second that Jack was going to kind of go with us. That he was going to be like, and jump after her, and then they would pull him up aboard and go.
I thought they all were gonna go with him. Like the flight girl and Jack were gonna go with him.
I didn't say Morgan, but I had the feeling the flight girl we're gonna see again. She's gonna keep popping up at different.
That's what I meant by
Yeah.
like the Morgan character. She's just gonna randomly pop up here and there.
Miranda says 50 feet ain't that bad, which is true because you have people doing clips in like Hawaii that are like 150 feet. Or
It's
something
all
like
about how you enter the water,
Yep.
though. That's the key.
When you come
Certain
off of something
landings will
that you're
break
coming
bones.
down like this, that's not working.
Yeah.
You got to be like this with a very slight angle.
And the thing about it is, when you jump 150 feet into the water, you have a clear jump from the edge of the cliff into the water.
And you see how deep the water
Right.
is.
Alicia just jumps over the railing and slides down, slides down the side into the water. But Gotham Guy says, wasn't there a net railing, though, that Alicia caught for a moment before she went over? No, there was a railing, and she kind of just jumped over it and slid down this angled side before she went into the water. Before she dropped, it went into the water. So, and yes, it's been a while since I asked for a job. I'm asking for a job again. I'm always asking for a job. So,
You need another job?
I just usually ask for jobs on the podcast. I was asking about jobs on The Walking Dead when we had those episodes. So,
You want to work at the vape shop?
I would like to write for The Walking
He's
Dead.
talking about
Oh,
Yeah.
screenwriting.
Yeah.
well, goddamn it. That would be cool, though.
So Travis,
But then you would have me bugging you all week about spoilers. So.
wow. So Travis, I think, is on the chopping block. I think he could go and it wouldn't impact the show that much.
People would be like, oh, shit. And then it would...
Right. It would still be big because we'd be like, oh my god, like we lost Travis, blah. But Chris is coming into his own. I don't think we can lose Chris. Nick, we can't lose. He's turning into the Rick. Strand, we can't lose if they can't get into Mexico. Luis, we can't lose without
Is
nobody
that his
getting
name?
into Mexico.
Why did I say
Luis.
Marcos?
I got you. I knew you meant to. You're super racist and all Mexicans
Fuck
are the same.
you.
I get that from you. It's fine. So that's hashtag socially acceptable racism.
Fucking
So
dick.
I don't think we can lose Maddie. I don't think we can lose Alicia. I mean, Travis really makes the most sense as the person who
Gets it.
gets it. And if they're going to do it at the end of the episode or at the end of the season, that may be the one. So Miranda says highest high dive is just short of 180, but they know what they're jumping into. She was blind. That was exactly my point. God, the delay's killing us today.
Although in a zombie apocalypse, do you really worry about it?
Well, I do. I think that if it looks like everything cleared up and you have okay, now we go get in the boat and go home, I don't make a blind jump off the back
Because
of the ship.
I don't think she was 100% sure that Jack was just going to let her go.
That's true, too. So maybe that was part of it.
I mean, she did fucking ninja the fucking butter knife from the
She did.
butterfly knife from him. So
Gotham Guy says with Travis gone, Nick would further his transformation, and I think that that's important too. Nick becomes kind of the leader with Travis gone. Daniel becomes more of the Daryl character.
Nick is he's really coming into his own.
I dig it.
He was
I'm
sitting
digging where
there
he's
cleaning
going.
the guns or whatever at one point, and she was, Maddie's just like, oh, you're getting too comfortable with that. I'm like, let him do his thing. At least he's not fucking doing the drugs.
And her whole thing about let me do it, and she says no because you want to. What was the deal with that?
I think that one was more because it was her kid.
Okay.
But he knows how to move.
Right.
He's obviously comfortable with fucking ripping open a zombie and putting blood on him to an extent. While last episode he was kind of choking up a little bit, but just starting out, yeah. But once he had it on, he was moving around, and we seen him walking up the street, bouncing a basketball, knowing damn well he was
Attracting attention.
he was attracting attention, but he knew he wasn't gonna get fucked with because he was covered in
Right.
zombie guts.
Flash says, well, she was concerned of his manipulation. Certainly that's true. Gotham Guy says it's true. She did set her only option with the way Jack was being. I think Jack is going to go after them because he wants Alicia, because she doesn't want a psycho for a kid. Okay, the chats are really hard to follow, guys, so sorry about that. But yeah, so I think that I am sensing that, thinking that maybe Jack would not let her go is a good reason to jump like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I gotta go, and then over the back of the boat before he has a chance to do anything.
I was kind of waiting for that Titanic moment.
Yeah, well, both lean on there. So any other big stuff? So, I mean, big stuff that happened this episode. We saw Flight 462 girl has survived, so we know she's going to be showing up again, hopefully in the future. Travis, still wishy-washy as a character. I want to like him, but I don't really think that it's there. Nick is becoming kind of a badass, I gotta say. And I think that the next time something pops up, he's going to be like, Mom, get the fuck out of the boat.
Now, what if in season 3 we see the kid from season 1 that was in school that told Maddie?
He did say go south, right? So there's a possibility he pops up again. The one thing I wanted to get to, which Flash just brought up in the comments, we have another person hearing voices in a Walking Dead show.
Yeah.
Any thoughts? Who's Daniel hearing and why is he hearing them?
Well, as we've learned before in season 1 when he was torturing the army guy, he's probably hearing voices from when he was in the wars.
Right. And I guess maybe the blindfold down or the thing on was reminding him of it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Any comments from the Alliance commenters? Waiting to see. Speaking of the Alliance, just pushing one more time, we have a brand new podcast on the network. Sorry.
You can't say sorry and then just leave it quiet.
So we have a brand new podcast on the network. Everybody should check out Anthem Alliance. New episodes of Anthem Alliance are going to be coming out every Friday. The first episode came out last Friday on the OD Anthem RSS feed. So make sure you're subscribing to OD Anthem on all your RSS feeders of choice. But Anthem Alliance will be dropping new episodes all the time. We're looking forward to that, adding new people in. And when the website's up, make sure you're following on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat even, I think. Make sure you're following everywhere so you can become part of the greater alliance of listeners and followers here. So we want you to join in and become part of the bigger conversation. And you can do that through Anthem Alliance, and make sure you're following their podcast and joining in there as well. Gotham Guy says, is it because Daniel's hand got injured? I'm not sure. Yeah, because he had to defend himself, and say he treated him medically. I'm not sure what again, there's a little bit of a delay, Gotham Guy, sorry. I'm not really sure what that comment is about Daniel, but it's because the zombie apocalypse is all a hallucination. Maybe it is. Maybe, it could all be happening in Rick's head, so really...
That would be some fucked up shit for both fucking series,
both
right?
Series?
He wakes up and then they both end.
So,
I don't think I'd be mad about it. I'd just be like, shit.
But I think that he got injured. That's part of it. I think he saw the guy with the hood on his head. That's part of it. He's just getting back in that zone of survival above everything else, and that is making him be in the mindset of the war. And I think that it's just flashing him back, and he's just having problems dealing with it. But at the same time, I don't know if that's a bad thing, because this is the kind of world where he needs to have that kind of mentality. So,
and we've seen that in season 1 when they led the zombies right to the holding ground for all the other people. So.
All right, so here we go. Gotham Guy with a clarification. Daniel was confronted in the hallway with the bloody rags, and he had to state that he was not torturing; he was medically treating Reed. Right.
Because of her boyfriend.
Well, I was gonna say because she
Well,
knows
not
what
her
he's
boyfriend.
the army guy.
The army guy.
She knows what he's capable of. And I think that's again a skill
He's
set. That
filleting people again.
I would not be opposed to it. I mean, you got to do what you got to do in this world. That's what my mentality is.
And
so.
you got to get the viewer rating to come in. So
Right. But so a lot going on. Obviously, in the preview, we saw that Luis is going to get them into Mexico, and maybe somebody came out to the boat, so they needed to hide everybody who wasn't supposed to be there, basically. But I guess we will have to wait and see where everything develops. Is there anything else from this episode that we didn't cover?
I think we covered everything.
Yeah. So, looking forward to the last 2 episodes of the season. Obviously, there's a lot more to come. A little upset that the pirates are done. I mean, they've wrecked the pirate
that
base.
you know of.
Pirates might not be done yet. We don't know.
Well, I mean, there may be other pirates, but this...
I mean, they could spend half of season 3 on the boat still, to be honest with you.
But it would be a new set of pirates. The pirates we've met are all but gone. Really, all
Not
that's
really.
left is-
If you look at all the boats on the little blinky screen that he showed her.
Yeah, there was
but
a lot
those-
around.
But those weren't pirates. Those were other people like them who were trying to... And I think that's
One
a
of them
setup
could've
for
been a
other
pirate.
episodes.
One of them could have been a pirate.
Maybe. Well, I guess we'll have to see. And Gotham Guy, yes, looking for cartel zombies. Maybe at the end of this season. Fingers crossed. End of this
I
season.
mean, getting
so.
close in Mexico.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna hit somebody in the head with a brick of coke.
Racist.
What?
Racist.
Hashtag socially acceptable racism. Again, I mentioned the Alliance earlier. Great way for you to support this podcast, that podcast, the whole podcast network, is to support us through monthly subscriber service. The easiest way to do that is go to patreon.com, patreon.com/OTheAnthem. Sign up for Be a Supporter for as little as $1 a month. You can join into the Alliance and step up and help to make this a reality. Every single week, we produce all of this programming for you. Now we have shows 4 days a week with original programs on it. Monday, you get the bonus episodes of Dirty Shore. Tuesday, you get the Anthem. Thursday, you get Dirty Shore. Friday, you get Anthem Alliance with other bonus materials from The Anthem on the weekend. So you really can't beat all that free stuff. We do that all for you to help keep the lights on and keep the internet flowing. You can help us out by becoming a supporter at patreon.com/OTheAnthem. So for more information, check that out. Gotham Guy says Jack is still around as if Flake Girl in Prego. Jack would go after Alicia because he's obsessed with her. I mean, I feel like there is a pursuit left to be had that Jack's not going to go up that easy, but I don't know that it's the same as this whole zombie outfit that was coming after them.
And we might not even see him again until season 3. So.
Right, it may pop up later that Alicia gets separated from someone and boom, Jack pops out around the corner and says, "Hey, honey," and just black bags her and takes her.
That's fucking creepy.
She likes to wander off by herself. This is not a world where you wander off by yourself. You do that, you get taken. That's what happens.
Unless you're Nick.
Unless you're Nick. Because then you smear blood all over yourself and
Or
you can
Glenn,
wander
and
wherever
you
you
can
want.
put underneath a dumpster
Right.
that typically only has 3 inches of clearance.
But, make sure you join us next week for another bonus episode of the Dirty Shore Underground. You can find new episodes of the podcast every Thursday, bonus episodes on Monday or Tuesday at DirtyShoreUnderground.com. Make sure you're following at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for the newest information, including whether or not we're going to have the podcast. We're always going to have the podcast. Other new updates are always available there. Make sure you're following us at youtube.com/c/Dirty Shore UG-OTA, where we live stream this and every podcast. Make sure you join us. Coming up this week, obviously we'll send out a notice on when we're going to record.
I think we planned on Tuesday night with Russell. There's another wrestling event coming up. If you've been following, we went to a wrestling event for Russell back in, December?
January, maybe? I feel like it was January.
Maybe January. I thought it was November.
It wasn't January.
Was it before that? It's been a while.
It's been a while, but we have a super local event going on. This will be the first wrestling show at the Denton Firehouse since I was 8 or 9. I had pictures from that.
Right.
So, we're going to go check it out. Probably do live streaming during the show and whatnot.
If they have Wi-Fi, oh wait, I have unlimited data.
Well, I don't lose my Wi-Fi till after I pass the firehouse. So
Here?
Yeah.
Really?
Because with Comcast, as long as my Comcast information is in,
Right.
anybody that has Comcast, I can
Fair enough.
pull off of them. So it's not till after the firehouse that I lose my shit.
So make sure you follow me at Dirty Shore UG on all your social networks to stay up to date on that. Join us Tuesday night where we'll live stream another podcast at youtube.com/c/Dirty Shore UG. As always, thank you all for joining us in the chat room.
There's obviously you got to know there's one more thing.
I know. So make sure you follow me at Robert N. Cheek on all your social networks. RobertNCheek.com for more information on me. My political blog, news website, and books which are available on Amazon. Make sure you sign up while you're there for my mailing list. Big news coming this week. So look forward to that. The Early Anthem podcast on Tuesday. We are a proud member of the Early Anthem Digital Network. You can find more information about Early Anthem at earlyanthem.com, at Early Anthem on all your social networks. So make sure you check all of that out. That's all available for you there. So,
with that said, if you're somebody who likes to vape, as you see, everybody here is currently vaping. Don't let the FDA run you over. Get in line. Check out notblowingsmoke.org and go to the CASAA website. Sign a petition, even though it's not enough. Get more involved. Call your local representatives.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do your part, come August, vaping will damn near be outlawed because of big tobacco and the FDA. And in their regulations, even cotton balls will be labeled as a tobacco product.
Mm-hmm.
So something that you could buy at Rite Aid is going to become a tobacco product.
Well, we'll probably do a full episode on it. We'll go on a
Yes.
little more in depth. I got to read the actual regulations and see what it is. I don't
Yes.
think it's that drastic.
It's pretty bad.
I think the vaping community is building it up to be more drastic.
No,
than it is.
it's worse than... It's pretty bad.
Raise your hand if you have any experience with federal regulations.
You're a lawyer. You're not allowed to do that.
So we'll review.
But
We'll review, and you can get all that up-to-date information. Make sure you keep following at Dirty Shore UG on our social networks. Join us here for the podcast, and we'll get in a little more in depth on that. And for those links, check out the show notes on your RSS feed, or go to DirtyShoreUnderground.com, and the links will be below that in the post. So
save vaping and save your life.
there you go. So make sure you join us on Tuesday. I see Gotham Guy with the last comment. What time Tuesday? It'll be in the evening. I think we said 7.
Yep. And
So-
if you tune in, I might get hit with a chair. Usually when we do wrestling shows, I get hit with something. So
join us around 7
Does that mean I
p.m.
get to hit you with the squeegee?
Yes,
No,
100%.
no,
100%.
no.
I approve.
that shit hurt last time. Fuck that. Russ knows how to sell the chair shot. She just fucking flat out nails people.
I approve. Join us on Tuesday night at 7
No.
p.m. YouTube.com/C/Dirty Shore UG. Up until then, we will look forward to seeing you. Have a great week, everybody.
Good night, everybody.